Καλησπέρα σε όλους. Αυτοαποκαλούνται ακτιβιστές και υπερασπιστές των ανθρωπίνων δικαιωμάτων και της ελευθερίας του ίντερνετ. Για τις διοκτικές αρχές είναι ούτε λίγο ούτε πολύ, στην καλύτερη περίπτωση ένα νέο είδος εκδικητή, στην χειρότερη μια μορφή ηλεκτρονικού τρομοκράτη. Τα τελευταία χρόνια έχουν πραγματοποιήσει μερικές από τις πιο εντυπωσιακές διαδικτυακές επιθέσεις σε κυβερνήσεις, κρατικούς οργανισμούς, εταιρείες, μυστικές υπηρεσίες και υπηρεσίες ασφάλειας σε όλο τον κόσμο. Απόψε στην Εμπόλεμη Ζώνη, η φωνή των Anonymous εξηγεί γιατί σε αυτό το νέο είδος ηλεκτρονικού πολέμου που διεξάγεται στο διαδίκτυο, ένας hacker μπορεί να είναι πιο ισχυρός από 1000 πάνωπλους στρατιώτες.
Greetings, people of the world. Allow me to introduce myself as anonymous, and only as anonymous, for I am nothing more than an idea. An idea of a free world void of oppression.
We're all anonymous. You're anonymous. I'm anonymous. Anybody's anonymous. Hide your identity. Be active, and you're anonymous. We estimate about 50,000 people globally are involved in Anonymous in a serious way. There is an Anonymous Greece. I'm very, very proud of them. I think that our message is freedom and justice at all costs. Anything short of violence. So if a protester anywhere in the world is being molested, you can bet that Anonymous is going to be there. Anonymous is what happens when governments and corporations screw up too badly. In the United States of America, I stand indicted for anonymous-related activities. If you want to call me a terrorist, then fine, I have no problem with that. But I will tell you this, the people that are terrorized are the bad guys. The good people have nothing to fear from us. I am more powerful than 1,000 swords with 1,000 guns, my friend. I can reach out and wreck whole third world governments all by myself.
Dozens of FBI agents targeted alleged members of the loose-knit hacking group. Simultaneous raids driven by the U.S. Attorney's Office in San Jose, California. Armed with search warrants, agents hit 6 homes in New York along with locations across the country, seizing hard drives and computer accessories. According to the government, the arrests were based on a cyber attack by Anonymous last December against the online payment company PayPal. PayPal had suspended an account tied to the website WikiLeaks, cutting off online donations. The group has also taken credit for hacking the websites of the CIA and the city of Orlando, after police there arrested people for handing out sandwiches to the homeless without a permit.
I stand indicted for the act of DDoS, which is a direct denial of service attack that we performed on several different sites. One of them is PayPal, MasterCard, and the other one is a county website in Santa Cruz, California. The attacks took place in December and January, December 2010, January of 2011, the particular attacks that I'm accused of. And the reason we did them is to fight for human rights. In all of these cases, whether we were defending, in one case, MasterCard and PayPal, we were defending WikiLeaks and the rights of WikiLeaks to publish, the rights of WikiLeaks to collect donations and be unmolested by corporate America.
Αυτός ο άνδρας είναι ένας από τα 15 άτομα που συνέλαβε το FBI το καλοκαίρι του 2011. Επικοινωνήσαμε μαζί του στο ίντερνετ. Μετά από αρκετές αλλαγές στο καθορισμένο διαδικτυακό ραντεβού μας και με 1000 προφυλάξεις εκ μέρους του, δέχθηκε να μας μιλήσει μέσω Skype με καλυμμένο πρόσωπο και αλλοιωμένη φωνή.
My name in the online world is X, just X. Commander is a title, and that title is directly related to one group in particular, and that's the People's Liberation Front. In the PLF, there are actual ranks. There are leadership. In Anonymous, there is no leadership, so I'm just X in Anonymous. I'm just one of many people involved in the collective.
Ο Αμερικανός με το ψευδόνυμο Commander X ή κατά κόσμον Christopher Doyon θεωρείται ηγετική φυσιογνωμία στον κόσμο των διαβόητων Anonymous. Οι Anonymous είναι μια διεθνής, σκιώδης και ανοιχτή ομάδα hackers που τα τελευταία χρόνια δημιουργεί αίσθηση παγκοσμίως με μια σειρά από διαδικτυακές επιθέσεις σε ιστοσελίδες κυβερνητικών οργανισμών, κρατικών υπηρεσιών ασφαλείας, ιδιωτικών εταιριών, αλλά και με τη συνδρομή της στα επαναστατικά κινήματα του αραβικού κόσμου.
Anonymous is a movement of people based around an idea, and that idea is the freedom of the internet is absolutely critical to all other freedom on earth right now. So Anonymous's main focus, primary idea, and primary reason for existence is to defend the internet at all costs, including our lives if we have to.
Ο X υποστηρίζει ότι μετά από πολυετή δράση και με την υπόθεσή του να εκκρεμεί στην αμερικανική δικαιοσύνη, αναγκάστηκε να περάσει παράνομα τα σύνορα των ΗΠΑ και μέσω ενός μυστικού δικτύου να καταλήξει σε κρυσφύγετο των Anonymous στον Καναδά. Είναι πλέον φυγάς και καταζητούμενος από το FBI.
Today is the trial date, another trial date for the Anonymous 15. Right now, as we speak, as we're talking, the Anonymous 15 are meeting in the San Jose courthouse to be arraigned and to be tried. And of course, one is missing. One is not there today. So there's only 14. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be me. Yeah. I'm the first one to flee. I'm the first Anon that we know of to use the system that we devised to flee the country. So I guess I'm the first anonymous exile.
This is a message to the Federal Bureau of Investigation and other law enforcement agencies around the globe. You cannot arrest an idea. In the past few days, Anonymous has shown its power in retaliation against arrests, organizing a boycott against PayPal that dropped eBay stocks by 4.6%, equal to $2,047,185,000. The complete humiliation of Mantech, a government contractor that works for the FBI, and in more recent actions, by infiltrating 77 websites of law enforcement agencies, collecting a grand total of 10 gigabytes of private law enforcement data and correspondence. If you string a mace into Anonymous's ends, we will engulf it. We are growing, and you cannot stop us. We are Anonymous. We are Legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. To the unjust law enforcers, expect us.
Το πιο δύσκολο κομμάτι αυτής της έρευνας ήταν, θα έλεγε κανείς, να εντοπίσουμε και να επικοινωνήσουμε με έναν ανώνυμο. Ο λεγόμενος Commander X, όπως είναι το ψευδόνυμό του στο διαδίκτυο, είναι γνωστό μέλος των Anonymous και ένας επώνυμος ακτιβιστής και hacker. Συνελήφθη πρόσφατα από το FBI, αφέθηκε ελεύθερος με εγγύηση και σήμερα είναι φυγάς και καταζητούμενος. Ο 47χρονος ακτιβιστής, σε μια σπάνια συνέντευξη, αποκαλύπτει ποιοι είναι οι Anonymous πίσω από τις μάσκες, πώς συντονίζονται μεταξύ τους, τι μεθόδους χρησιμοποιούν για να επιτεθούν στις ιστοσελίδες που γίνονται στόχοι τους, ποιοι φτιάχνουν τα βίντεο προκηρύξεις αυτής της ομάδας και μέχρι πού μπορούν να φτάσουν για να πετύχουν τους στόχους τους.
First, they hit that Boston police website. Now, a notorious hacking group has crashed the CIA's website, the group Anonymous, rendering the site pretty much useless for most of the day. And the question is, if they can do that to a government website, what else can they do?
There's many different kinds of attacks, but basically there's three that we do. One is called a DDoS attack. The DDoS attack is basically it's sort of like a flash mob in cyberspace. We get a couple of hundred to 1,000 or more people together, and each one of them begins sending packets of information at the website until so many people are sending so many packets of information that the server becomes overwhelmed, and in essence you get a busy signal. If anybody else in the world tries to go to that website, it's inaccessible because it's just too busy dealing with all these packets that we're firing at the website.
It's the digital modern version of the sit-in. So when you have a sit-in, a bunch of people come, they sit in your lobby, or maybe they stand outside and they stop you from doing business because they make it hard for people to come in and out of your establishment. Denial of service attack is the same thing. They basically line up at the front door of your website until nobody else can get in anymore.
Well, the Boston Police Department has been hacked by the mysterious group known as Anonymous. The group also defaced the Boston PD's website. And on Friday, it was revealed that hackers got hold of a recording of a private conference call between the FBI and Scotland Yard and uploaded it to the internet.
Well, a defacement is the equivalent of a banner drop. If you think about what a banner drop is, where you drop a banner off a building or a bridge, a defacement of a website is very, very similar to something like that, where basically all we're doing is just putting an image up that they can fix it in 5 minutes flat. But it's very effective because, you know, thousands or maybe millions of people might view that website in the interim and see the propaganda image or see the message that we put on that website.
Computer hackers spent this Christmas holiday stealing credit card numbers and personal information from 4,000 clients of a company in Texas. And the hackers claim they were using the cards to send donations to charities.
Third thing that we do that's very effective is a dump. And a dump is where we go in and we hijack all of the information on that server, all the databases and everything, and download them and analyze them for information that would be embarrassing to the target. Anybody can learn to do this. In fact, if you go to our website, we have manuals to teach people how to do this. We're currently working on a book now called Freedom Hack, where we're going to actually list all the methods and tactics that Anonymous and the PLF have used over the last couple of years in these attacks, how to use them, how to plan, how to strategize, and how to pick your targets.
They use a piece of software very commonly called the Low Orbit Ionic Cannon, or the LOIC, or sometimes they call it the Lulz Cannon. I like Lulz Cannon, that's my favorite name. That's actually a testing tool. It's been around for a long time, and it's designed to test websites and their susceptibility to denial of service attacks. In this case, the attackers are just taking that tool and using it to test those systems, but with the intention of breaking those systems in the end.
What LOIC did that was really interesting is it allowed people to download a piece of software, whether they were technically proficient or not, and join a voluntary botnet. They could say, I am joining in with 5,000 other people to point my computer at this website. I know that I am doing this. I have downloaded the software to do this.
We are using the LOIC to conduct distributed denial of service attacks against businesses that have aided in the censorship of any person. Our attacks do no damage to the computer hardware.
The most we've ever had is about 6,000.
6,000 users?
Yeah, and that was on the PayPal attack. We had about 6,000 people. And then very, very recently, we did one where we had several thousand. I'm trying to remember now. I believe that was the CIA attack where we had a couple of thousand people. So they can get very, very big. We estimate about 50,000 people globally are involved in Anonymous in a serious way.
Hello, this is a classified message from Anonymous. Mass publication is strictly recommended. After numerous attacks on the truth-spilling platform of WikiLeaks, including the shutdown of its financing, we have already made it very clear that we will fight for freedom of speech and a free press. But we have, at best, given them the black eye. The game has changed. When the game changes, so too must our strategies. We are now moving forward to phase 2 of our war on disinformation terror, introducing Operation Leak Spin. Become part of the hive and join a fight we can only win with information.
One of Anonymous's key advantages is that they are very flexible and very agile. They can very quickly approach a new issue, get a bunch of people interested in it, and attack in under a day. So that's something that it's hard for people to prepare for.
Όλα ξεκίνησαν το 2003 στην Αμερική. Την ιδέα της ανωνυμίας σε αυτή την κολεκτίβα των hackers έδωσε η ιστοσελίδα 4chan. Ένα blog στο οποίο κάθε χρήστης μπορεί να αναρτήσει ό,τι περιεχόμενο και σχόλιο επιθυμεί.
4chan has no IDs in it. Everything is very ephemeral, everything is unsigned, so every post is made by anonymous. And the kind of sense of the community became known as anonymous just because everybody was anonymous.
It wasn't until 2007 that the group began to take on a political nature. That happened when a video was created by a small group of people within Anonymous that wished to attack the Church of Scientology for perceived injustices.
Hello, leaders of Scientology. We are Anonymous. Over the years, we have been watching you, your campaigns of misinformation, your suppression of dissent, your litigious nature. All of these things have caught our eye. With the leakage of your latest propaganda video into mainstream circulation, the extent of your malign influence over those who have come to trust you as leaders has been made clear to us. Anonymous has therefore decided that your organization should be destroyed.
From that point forward, the group Anonymous began to be used as almost as a protest brand, taken on by different people in different parts of the world to fight against various enemies, such as corporations or small governments.
Oppressive governments of the world take this as a warning. Anonymous has been watching the recent developments in Spain, France, Hungary, China, Belarus, US, and many other countries with a great deal of attention. Keep this in mind, for you may be next.
Anonymous has evolved and become so tremendously more complex. It's become a name that is picked up by people all over the world. It describes a way of being in the world. It describes a common culture online. It describes a value set that is commonly, though never universally, shared amongst the people who kind of pick up the mantle of Anonymous.
Do not sit and watch. Do not sit and cheer. Use your talents. Artists, be creative. Singers, be lyrical. Writers, spread our word. We will not be silent. We are Anonymous. We are Legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us.
We never forgive. We never forget. Expect us. It's such an aggressive statement. And that's the thing with Anonymous, is they are always over the top. They are always aggressive. They are always bringing about the end of the world.
We have been watching the actions of San Francisco. Blocking communication of cell phone devices is unacceptable. The Bay Area Rapid Transit has decided that blocking cellular communication is the correct way to scare off protesters. To the Bay Area Rapid Transit, by performing this action, you have not only threatened your citizens' safety, but you have also performed an act of censorship. By doing this, you have angered Anonymous.
They can actually, as you would say, epically go after something, like just try to grind it into the ground. Back in the days of 4chan, before Anonymous was a thing in the world, really, there was a meme called Epic Fail Guy, and at some point when a conversation online would just be going badly, somebody would post a picture of Epic Fail Guy. And at some point, Epic Fail Guy started putting on a Guy Fawkes mask.
Governments should be afraid of their people.
Guy Fawkes is a British revolutionary who developed a plot to blow up Parliament. And he is now celebrated as a hero almost in England. And subsequently, the image was used by Alan Moore's comic V for Vendetta, which was then turned into a pretty popular film. So the mask itself basically has come to symbolize a generic symbol for anti-establishment sentiments. Has a function. People need a mask when they're protesting and at Occupy Wall Street, for instance, because they don't want to have their picture taken.
The V for Vendetta movie had been released during that period of time. So it was just like, oh, okay, well, can we get these masks? And when we looked it up on the web, we found out we could, and we adopted it as a piece of our iconography.
The mask became this ubiquitous symbol, this kind of grinning, slightly scary symbol of this effaced identity, this way of protesting something that was perfect for the way Anonymous is in the world. And that spread.
Our cyberspace has no elected government, nor it is likely to have one. Governments derive their just powers from the consent of the governed. You, world leaders, have neither solicited nor received powers. We did not invite you. You do not know us. You do not know what are we capable of, nor do you know our world. Cyberspace does not lie within your borders. We will spread across the planet so no one can arrest our thoughts.
The Anons are allergic to hierarchy. And that's good and bad. You know, it makes trust and reliability a really difficult problem within Anonymous.
There are no leaders of Anonymous, in the sense that there are no official leaders. We don't elect anybody. We don't send somebody out with a little Anon name tag. But there are leaders within Anonymous. The same as there are leaders within any organic group of people. If you put any group of people together, you are going to have people within that group who choose to follow, and you are going to have people within that group who choose to instigate, who choose to lead. My authority as Commander X within Anonymous is because I had launched so many successful operations. I have always adhered properly to the principles of Anonymous. I've been a good Anon, in other words. I've worked hard, and I've earned some street credit. So our decision-making process, while it's very much based on consensus, it's a free-for-all. And basically, those with the biggest voices, those with the most experience in the collective, will get the biggest voice. So that discussion goes on, but it goes on in a very anarchic way that people would find very difficult to understand.
Our ranks are filled with people representative of many parts of the world and all political orientations. We can be anyone, anywhere, anytime. If you are in a public place right now, take a look over your shoulder. Everyone you see has all the requirements to be an Anon.
How do you coordinate 2,000 people to attack simultaneously a website?
We use a communications platform called Internet Relay Chat. It's a very old school form of chat. It's very basic. It doesn't have any bells or whistles, and that's the reason we like it, because it's very easy to secure, because it's very simple. It doesn't have a lot of fancy loopholes. And we coordinate our attacks in those channels. We just gather everybody together, usually using Facebook or Twitter, the social media. We put out the word that, hey, we're going to do a campaign today at 11 o'clock. Everybody come over to IRC. And then they'll go into IRC, and we'll have, when they log in, they'll be able to see what the target of the day is, what time to fire, what is the weapon of choice. And sometimes different servers, we like to use different kinds of weapons to fire on these targets. And so everything is there and already coordinated and organized for them.
How did you pick up your targets?
It can be almost any way. I can be reading a news article one day and something just goes up my butt sideways, and I have to do something. I have to take action. It could be that somebody we know calls out to us for help.
Hello, citizens of the internet. We're Anonymous. On September 17th, Anonymous will flood into Lower Manhattan, set up tents, kitchens, peaceful barricades, and occupy Wall Street for a few months. Once there, we shall incessantly repeat one simple demand in a plurality of voices. We want freedom. This is a non-violent protest. We do not encourage violence in any way.
The videos are a recruiting tool. They are also a way to brag. They're a way to get the message out. They're a way to build awareness around a specific target.
Greetings, world. We are Anonymous. We have defended Julian Assange and other members of WikiLeaks when they were persecuted for releasing information that provided evidence to the corruption within our government and militaries. We restored the internet to the people of Egypt when the Egyptian government tried to silence their voice to the world. We have defended and supported countless peoples in their pursuits for freedom. And now we will assist in the bigger struggle.
I feel like every office denounced as not really anonymous. Who gets to decide who is an anonymous? No one.
Anybody in Anonymous can make a video. And if you go on YouTube, you'll find a lot of them that are crap, okay? And they're not very high quality. That doesn't mean they're any less authentic or whatever. That just means that they're not very high quality. But the really good ones, the ones that have really high impact, are produced by two different teams. One is a team of Anons who produce these videos, and they go by the name of Garden Slayer. You can probably look them up on Twitter or something like that later. The other team is my own team. We have 3 videographers that work for us, and they, as far as I'm concerned, they produce the best in the world. We have produced whole movies that we have given, whole 30-minute movies and documentaries that we have given to the movement.
Most of what Anonymous does is expressive. Most of the time people take to do things in Anonymous isn't illegal hacking stuff. That's just stuff we in the media like to cover. Most of it is talking to each other and talking to the world via manifestos, via videos, Twitter accounts, Facebook accounts, all sorts of stuff where people are just kind of doing a lot of explaining and expressing, both on technical and non-technical terms. There's a lot of political speech involved with Anonymous.
We are Anonymous. We are Legion. We do not forgive. We will not forget. Expect us.
Τα βίντεο που εμφανίζονται στο διαδίκτυο από το 2008 μέχρι σήμερα μοιάζουν με ηλεκτρονικό μανιφέστο. Μερικά έχουν τη μορφή προκηρύξεων για τις επιθέσεις που έχουν ήδη σημειωθεί. Άλλα προειδοποιούν για εκείνες που θα ακολουθήσουν. Αυτά τα σύντομα κλιπ σφραγίζουν τη δράση των Ανώνυμους και παρακινούν τους ομοειδάτες τους να τους υποστηρίξουν. Μετά την εκκλησία της αεντολογίας μπαίνω στο στόχαστρο ιστοσελίδες που κατηγορούνται για διακίνηση υλικού παιδικής πορνογραφίας, το PayPal, η Mastercard και η Visa για τη διακοπή της συνεργασίας με το Wikileaks, εταιρείες ασφαλείας ίντερνετ όπως η Symantec και η HB Gary, το Amazon, η ελβετική τράπεζα Post Finance, η Combined Systems Incorporation που κατασκευάζει δακρυγόνα για την αστυνομία, η σελίδα του δίκτυ Nasdaq και πολλές άλλες. Αργότερα θα πάρουν σειρά τα αραβικά καθεστώτα, οι αμερικανικές υπηρεσίες ασφαλείας, κυβερνήσεις, πολιτικά κόμματα και οργανισμοί σε όλο τον κόσμο.
There have been a few attacks that have allegedly caused some serious financial damage. The one that comes to mind is Sony. They've claimed that Anonymous has cost them millions of dollars by bringing down their Sony PlayStation network for a period of weeks.
There's a group called the Ponemon Research Group who publishes a study every year called The Cost of a Data Breach. It costs $318 for every record that you lost. So if you lose 1,000 records, that's $318,000 worth of cost. If you lose 1,000,000 records, well, you can do the math. There's a lot of money there. So the financial impact is significant. And going with that financial impact is a reputation impact. Your name is out there as a company that got hacked, as a company that lost its customers' data. That's a bad thing for business.
Anonymous announced their latest retrieval of data, saying, yes, NATO was breached, and we have lots of restricted material.
This group is notorious. We've been reporting on Anonymous and LulzSec.
Not only did they break into BART's website, but they have actually posted contact information, personal contact information for more than 2,000 subscribers.
They're so good at crafting those around something that the media cannot resist pouring coverage on them. So first and foremost, I think for all their technical skills, they're media hackers.
There are people who are asking, how can I join Anonymous?
We're all anonymous. You're anonymous. I'm anonymous. Anybody's anonymous. Hide your identity, be active, and you're anonymous.
There's probably a few dozen people that are hardcore long-term members of Anonymous, but there's probably several thousand people that are supporters, well-wishers, willing to get involved once in a while in some of these hacking activities.
Usually it's a small group of geniuses surrounded by legions of idiots who are very loud and good at getting the message out there. But the people who are actually doing the hacking, it's usually a small group of 4 or 5 people.
I think the one common factor is we're people who want to make a difference. We're people who have technological skills of some sort, whether it be computers, media, or something like that. And we want to make a difference. We are activists. We are human rights activists. We are information activists, first and foremost. And we are unsatisfied with the world that we find ourselves in and unwilling to continue living in that world without trying to make a change. So I myself am 47, and I spend most of my day dealing with 17-year-olds. So go figure, right?
This is not the first time Anonymous has hit the CIA's website, although this attack, they're saying, is in retaliation for the feds raiding a file-sharing service site, which resulted in several arrests.
More powerful than 1,000 swords with 1,000 guns, my friend. I can reach out and wreck whole third world governments all by myself.
They see themselves as vigilantes who are fighting for the little guy and aim to bring down bullies on a global scale.
From the outside, they are a vigilante group. From the inside, it's a response. It's very visceral.
One man's vigilante is another man's freedom fighter. I mean, you know, we can bandy about terms all day long. Myself, personally, I opt out of the semantic argument of terrorist or vigilante. You can go ahead and use those terms. Anybody can use those terms. I'm not opposed to them, but I think that these are labels, and what we do is what we do.
Greetings, police forces of the world. We are anonymous. Since the beginning of the Occupy movement, we have watched as police violence toward the otherwise peaceful protesters has steadily increased. Your brutalization of our citizens is both unjust and uncalled for. Your raids on our encampments and the illegal actions of corrupt officers within your ranks will no longer go unpunished. Any officer found to be guilty of these crimes against peaceful protesters will be doxxed and have their personal information released to the public. It is time you take a dose of your own medicine.
One of my favorite moments of internet culture, this might be a little off topic, was the way pepper spray cop went, that meme. Just like, it was like watching the internet collectively dream about police brutality.
UC Davis Campus Police Lieutenant John Pike, Records Unit Manager, you pepper sprayed a crowd of peaceful students sitting on the ground. You are a coward and a bully, a tool of the corrupt, a puppet for your masters. Citizens of the world, flood his home phone at 530-752-3989. Flood his cell phone at 530-979-0184. Flood his email at japikeii@ucdavis.edu. Flood his home with pizza deliveries and junk mail at 4005 Cowell Boulevard, apartment number 616.
Anonymous, I like to say the consequence fairy, like, alights where she wants to. Like what is going to be an incredibly important historical moment in Anonymous is something that you cannot predict in advance.
A team of hackers announces we don't like the U.S. government very much and says just for kicks, it's hacked into the Senate's website. The Senate Sergeant-at-Arms says the intrusion does not compromise the security of the Senate's network.
When they hacked the CIA's website and the Senate's website on the same day, they were both denial of service attacks, no big deal, but boy, that showed that they had some guts.
Just to be clear, the group Anonymous did not actually hack into the CIA's website. They overloaded it with thousands of hits at a time, and that's what caused the site to shut down. So your question, what is the limit here? Experts say the sky, unfortunately, because nothing is 100% secure. Who is this group Anonymous?
It is internet pranksters, it is activists, it is sometimes some downright vicious criminal behavior. It is sometimes cruel, it is sometimes beautiful.
I think that some people view them as freedom fighters. I think a lot of people view them as misguided, immature, too big for their britches children.
Hello. We are Anonymous.
The group's most recent target is the Texas Police Association. It's in response to a story we broke about a wily policeman put on administrative leave while he's investigated for child pornography.
The whole idea of a hacker, I think, is often just is misconceived in the popular culture. Hacking is not illegality. Hacking is actually really one of, I consider like one of the noblest human kind of endeavors. Hacking is seeing problems and wanting to fix them. And, you know, hacktivism is seeing problems not just on the computer, but in the global political, economic, legal system, and saying, I want to fix these problems. It's a mentality and it's a culture.
Οι ανώνυμους και οι υποστηριχτές τους, όπως ο δικηγόρος Άμπι Χάσεν που προσφέρει εθελοντικά τις υπηρεσίες του σε ακτιβιστές, θεωρούν ότι η πολιτική δράση μέσω ίντερνετ μπορεί να χαρακτηριστεί ως χακτιβισμός. Ο χακτιβιστής χρησιμοποιεί νόμιμες ή παράνομες μεθόδους και ψηφιακά εργαλεία με σκοπό την διαδικτυακή διαμαρτυρία για πολιτικούς λόγους. Θεωρητικά η μόνη διαφορά του από τον ακτιβιστή είναι η χρήση υπολογιστή και ενός software. Η συζήτηση όμως για την πραγματική δράση των Anonymous συνεχίζεται.
I don't think you can call Anonymous a hacktivist collective. I think that's inaccurate. But you can say that that thing which is called hacktivism occurs in Anonymous.
I see a very clear analogy between the activists and the hacktivists. However, at least in the United States, the law doesn't treat them the same at all. So somebody who's part of a sit-in, a physical sit-in, may be charged with a misdemeanor, maybe a fine, generally be let go. Somebody who's charged as being part of a denial of service attack may be charged as a serious criminal and get jail time, even though they've effectively done the same thing.
Ακτιβιστές ή χακτιβιστές. Ό,τι και αν πιστεύει κανείς για τους Anonymous, οι υπηρεσίες ασφαλείας ανά τον κόσμο τους έχουν ήδη στοχοποιήσει.
I've talked to a few people in the security industry who can confirm that all of them are very much thinking about Anonymous on a regular basis because Anonymous is becoming this new threat.
We're seeing the beginning of what will be not just a crackdown of Anonymous, but a crackdown on a way of being. We're seeing a culture war. We're at the beginning of a culture war, where this idea of hierarchy, this idea of a very controlled world, is going to run up against this idea of individual action outside of the context of, being vetted by the world. Right now, a lot of people in Anonymous are being hunted by various governments for various reasons. I think ultimately the commonality is they're being hunted for being really different from the social structures that have been how governments work.
These people are being targeted, they're being arrested, and they're facing absurd sanction. I mean, people are facing 20 years in jail for what harm, for what damage, like kids that, just are messing around on the internet. PayPal went down for a half an hour, and so 14 people need to go to jail for the majority of their life.
I'm a political exile, and I'm actually seeking political asylum from yet a third country. And so the fact that I had to do that, the fact that I felt the need to do that, means that there's great oppression in the United States of America. And wherever there's oppression, anywhere in the world, that means they're afraid. They don't oppress people they're not afraid of. They only oppress people they're afraid of. So yeah, they're afraid of us.
Οι Anonymous απασχόλησαν περισσότερο τα ελληνικά μέσα όταν τον περασμένο Φεβρουάριο επιτέθηκαν στην ιστοσελίδα του Υπουργείου Δικαιοσύνης και τη βραδιά ψήφισης του Μνημονίου στο site της Βουλής, της Ελληνικής Αστυνομίας και σε μια σειρά από άλλες ιστοσελίδες όπως πολιτικών κομμάτων, κρατικών υπηρεσιών και οργανισμών. Ο Commander X δηλώνει περήφανος για τους Έλληνες Anonymous τη στιγμή που στις Ηνωμένες Πολιτείες οι αρχές ασφαλείας προσπαθούν να συνδέσουν τους hacker με ένα νέο είδος τρομοκρατίας και έχουν εξαπολύσει ανθρωποκυνηγητό για τη σύλληψή τους.
The FBI today arrested top members of the hacktivist group LulzSec. The FBI in New York filed charges against 5 people, and it was made possible by this man, 28-year-old Hector Xavier Monsegur. Monsegur pled guilty to being a former member of the hacktivist group and is now working with the FBI.
25 members of Anonymous have been arrested across Europe. Interpol arrested them. Apparently they have an insider that was with Anonymous but is a turncoat. He's known as the real Sabu on Twitter, apparently, and he helped these international organizations catch anonymous hackers, not only in Europe, but also in the United States as well.
There's a perception within Anonymous that there's a very, very high rate of law enforcement infiltration. That is probably true. It is easy, if you are law enforcement, to join Anonymous and try to find out things.
They arrested me and put me out on bond. I was on bail, and I was in this surveillance bubble. They actually had FBI agents that would follow me every day, all around. I would come out of my apartment, and they would be across the street. They would wave to me. The federal agents would. And so, for my own security, I have altered my appearance, and I don't want the public or the police to know how I've altered my appearance. And as far as my voice goes, it's encrypted just for my own protection, so that the government can never actually prove that this was really me.
Some of these people have watched their friends get hurt, get arrested, get killed. They're getting a little bit more serious about protecting their identities. In the US and UK, have been very, very aggressive hunting through the network for the hacker anonymous in an attempt to really, really crack down on them. The internet, so there's a bit of an arms war going on there. There's been a lot of crackdowns on the tools that anons use in recent days. I think we'll probably see more of that. I think that they're also using Anonymous as an excuse to kind of crack down on the free internet. There was this statement from NSA saying that Anonymous may have the capacity to take down electrical grids within a couple of years.
Robert Miller is the director of the FBI, and he says, in the not too distant future, we anticipate that the cyber threat will pose the #1 threat to our country.
In my head, that sort of opens the door to them being treated as a terrorist through any kind of legal action, falling under the guidance of being able to arrest folks without charging them and hold charges secret and all the stuff that comes with prosecuting terrorists.
This is just another example of that. It's taking an unpopular group, or really what is a threat to, the entrenched power, and labeling them as a terrorist so that they can justify absurd sanctions and justify really the destruction of due process, the destruction of the rule of law in the name of the war on terror.
Greetings NSA, we are Anonymous. Your statement regarding the potential future sabotage of power grids by Anonymous disgusts us to the core, as it is clearly an attempt at fear-mongering. The idea that Anonymous would shut down one of the most vital resources for it to operate is ludicrous. While security and intelligence organizations throughout the world attempt to depict Anonymous as a terrorist organization, many people understand that this same subset of Anonymous they speak of is actually a movement for freedom.
We have 3 basic principles that we follow. We never attack the media, and that's mainstream media, social media, independent media. We never attack the infrastructure of the civilization. We don't attack power stations, we don't attack dams, we don't attack hospitals. Our message is freedom and justice at all costs. That short of violence, anything short of violence. So I would say that our message is a non-violent struggle for freedom and justice. I guess that would sum it up. If you want to call me a terrorist, if the listeners or the viewers out there want to call me that, then fine, I have no problem with that. But I will tell you this, the people that are terrorized are the bad guys. The good people have nothing to fear from us.
I think they have the skills to get nasty if they want to, but they've never had the motivation in the past. I mean, these guys really haven't been terribly bad guys. They've had the opportunity to do a lot of bad stuff, but they haven't really pulled the trigger.
Thousands of people rely on electricity for everything they do. Hospitals even need this electricity to save lives, and taking out the power grid would cause harm to the very people we wish to protect. There is no valid reason for us to shut down the power grid, as far as we are aware. Any such predictions by the various government, security, and intelligence organizations are likely attempts to instill fear into those that don't understand this, and to discredit Anonymous as a whole. We are Anonymous. We are Legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. For once, don't expect us.
The Interpol website has reportedly become the latest target of the so-called hacktivist Anonymous group, which advocates internet freedom. The attack came as Interpol announced it arrested 25 suspected hackers from the movement in Europe and South America.
You'll see more arrests. You'll see more tragedies out of this too. I don't think that's actually going to kill Anonymous.
We've had over 100 people across America and Europe be arrested already, but I would point out that that's 100 people over 2 years across 2 continents, and there are 50,000 members. So they're not exactly doing that great at catching us.
There's a major takedown in the war against computer crime. Authorities in the United States and Europe just rounded up some alleged hackers suspected in a recent string of high-profile cyber attacks. Brian Todd has the details. Brian?
Wolf, these alleged hackers have carried out some of the highest profile breaches around the world over the past couple of years.
One of the national security officials with the U.S. government recently called Anonymous unstoppable. And I think that's true. I think it's true both because the state of internet security is terrible and there's no effort to fix it. But it's also that Anonymous is an idea. Anonymous is just a way. It's a set of techniques. It's an idea. It's a set of values. And you can't arrest that. You can arrest people. And even the arrests of those people become part of a narrative that brings more people into Anonymous.
Dear citizens of the world, Anonymous cannot and will not stand idly while people are being denied their basic rights and human liberties. Yet there are still a lot of governments worldwide who fail to even aspire to the standard of freedom.
Our goal is a world free of hate, prejudice, injustice, tyranny. And that's our goal. And is it practical? Absolutely. Of course we're going to win. No problem. The world wants these things. The natural evolution of man is towards freedom, not away from it. So the tyrants and the police and the military, they are on the wrong side of history. And whether it takes 10 years or whether it takes 1,000 years, that will be shown. That will be proven. So we are the good in the world. We are the good in the world. We are the expression of mankind's desire for justice and freedom. We're not a cause, we're a symptom. Anonymous is what happens when governments and corporations screw up too badly.
Greetings, Greece. We are Anonymous. What is going on in your country is unacceptable. You were chosen by your people to act on behalf of them and express their wishes, but you have derogatorily failed. You have killed the most sacred element your country had, and that is democracy.
Τον Φεβρουάριο του 2012, οι γνωστοί άγνωστοι του διαδικτύου έστρεψαν το ενδιαφέρον τους στην Ελλάδα. Και δεν ήταν μόνοι.
Εκείνη τη νύχτα, την ώρα που ξεκίνησαν οι Anonymous να χτυπάνε το site του Πρωθυπουργού και την ελληνική αστυνομία, παρακολουθούσαμε τα tweets από το Twitter τους. Χωρίς να έχουμε συνεννοηθεί κάτι, χωρίς να υπάρχει προηγούμενη συνεννόηση, αποφασίσαμε ουσιαστικά όλοι μαζί να βοηθήσουμε. Αυτό που κάναμε εμείς από την πλευρά μας σαν ελληνική σκηνή είναι ουσιαστικά το να πάρουμε μέρος σε αυτήν την επίθεση που ξεκίνησαν οι Anonymous. Για ποιο λόγο? Για ακριβώς αυτόν τον λόγο, ο οποίος λέει ότι ο ακτιβισμός είναι ουσιαστικά η αντίδραση σε κάτι κοινωνικά, παύλα πολιτικά άδικο.
To the Greek government, you should have expected us.